Good evening, everybody, and welcome inside Banner Island Ballpark here in downtown Stockton, California. Game 3 of the 2011 California League Championship Series featuring the Lake Elsinore Storm, the High A affiliate of the San Diego Padres, and the Stockton Ports, the High A affiliate of the Oakland Athletics. It's great to have you along here on Comcast Hometown Network alongside Greg Young, Zack Bayrouty. It's great to be bringing you more California League baseball, playoff baseball here on CHN. And Greg, the Ports return home. Their back's up against the wall, down 2-0. The Storm trying for their third Cal League title in franchise history. The Ports just trying to stay alive.
Yeah, absolutely must win. It's win or go home for Stockton at this point. Good news is, though, for Stockton is that Lake Elsinore has yet to win so far here on the road in the postseason. For the Ports tonight, home field advantage, something the North has had this season, and it's good news for Stockton.
Well, for Lake Elsinore, the story in this series for them has been Nate Fryman. He went 4 for 4 in Game 1 of this series and drove in 3 of the 6 Storm runs.
Yeah, a big night for Fryman back in Game number 1, and it's something that he did all throughout this season. Didn't hit for an extremely high average, but still was 4th in the league in runs batted in this season, led the league in games played. He's a big power hitter, had more than 20 home runs this season. He's a big presence in the middle of that lineup.
Well, at times this season for Stockton, the heart of their team has been Ryan Lipkin. Catchers usually have that way about them where they can step up and fill that role. And for Lipkin, he can block balls in the dirt, throw runners out, and also hit for some pretty good power.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Fryman might be the more prototypical middle-of-the-order kind of guy. Lipkin maybe not, but certainly has played that role quite well so far in the postseason. Had a big double against the San Jose Giants just a few nights ago here, as you see it. And, you know, Lipkin's got a big task on his hands of protecting Michael Choice in the lineup, and so far in the playoffs, he has done that quite well.
Well, the Ports are going to have to get by 3 left-handers coming up for the Storm in this series. Tonight is going to be Andrew Werner. He'll be opposed by one of the Ports' aces, A.J. Griffin from Banner Island Ballpark. Both fan bases represented the Storm and the Ports. We'll be back with starting lineups and first pitch coming up next.
For the Stockton Ports, defensively, started off in left field with Mario Richard. In center field, the home run king for the Cal League this season, that's Michael Choice. Rayshon Dixon has to start in right. Over at third is Leonardo Hill. At shortstop, Dusty Coleman. Connor Crumbless, who has been a major factor here all season long for the Ports, but especially in the postseason. He's at second base. Anthony Aliotti is over at first, and behind the plate, we talked about him in the open. It's Ryan Lipkin, local guy here in the Valley from Vacaville, went to Solano County Community College. Big part of the Ports defense, and they need him to come up big, especially with the bat here tonight.
And he'll be handling A.J. Griffin. Griffin on the hill. You look at what he's done in the postseason. These are postseason numbers, and boy, are they spectacular. In 2 postseason starts, a 1.29 ERA. And Greg, I think what gets you, what really jumps out, the innings pitched, and then you look at the strikeouts to walks. Well over a strikeout an inning, and just 1 walk. And look at what he's coming with.
Yeah, fastball, curveball, changeup, and slider, but it's the curveball that is so devastating. The way that he's able to mix that in and keep guys off balance has been tremendous so far.
Check in on Mario. Richard, one of the big base stealers on this team. Had a very good year on the base paths.
Yeah, 27 steals for him.
That one chopped foul right at the plate.
You know, Moneyball. Big movie's coming out here soon. Crumbless has got to be kind of the prototypical Billy Bean guy. On-base percentage through the roof, walks a lot. Maybe doesn't hit, you know, for a tremendous amount of power. Bang can run into a few, though, and hit one against San Jose already in the postseason, a home run out to right field. But, I mean, this is what the A's are all about. Guys that get on and have good at-bats, good long at-bats, and that's what Crumbless does.
Little excuse me swing, and it's blooped toward the left field line. It's going to fall foul.
To the outs is the slurve, and that's the kind of swing through you get when it's going right.
Andrew attended the University of Indianapolis. Makes his home in Washington, Illinois. This is his first professional season. He did not play last year. Signed as an undrafted free agent in November of last year. So he didn't get any professional time last season, but this year is split time between Fort Wayne and Lake Elsinore.
You know, and he says that as far as high school for him is concerned, baseball was not his #1 sport. He was a football player. He was a center. Played a little bit of basketball, too, but baseball was kind of third on the list for him. And, you know, I guess you move to the mound and you get that slurve going, and then, hey, this is working out. But, you know, with the left-hander, that's all it takes.
From the left side?
Yeah, that's all you need. Always got a chance. There's a young lefty coming up. Richard still has that very late secondary lead where he kind of jumps towards second.
3 balls and no strikes, and it looks like right now Werner doesn't want any part of Michael Choice.
You know, I was surprised in watching how the Giants pitched the Choice in the North Division Finals that they gave him anything to hit. You would think that this would be the way to attack him.
Tried to nibble on the inside corner there, and Choice draws a walk. So the Ports with 2 on, 1 out, with Lipkin coming to the plate.
Well, Lipkin, you know, hit 248 in the regular season, 6 home runs, 47 batted in. Didn't finish on really a great tear at all. Hit less than 200 over his last 10. But, you know, he's a guy at this ballpark that becomes very dangerous. He puts a lot of backspin on the ball. It can carry for him a lot. He had that huge double against San Jose here a little while ago. Ports, by the way, have not lost at home in the postseason this year. And the Storm have yet to win on the road in the postseason so far this year.
So something's going to give.
Absolutely.
Ryan Lipkin versus lefties. A 263 average, which is above average for this team. Ports as a team hit 244 versus southpaws in the regular season. And a couple of key guys really struggled against lefties. Aliotti, 198. Gilmartin, 193. Levere, 145.
All left-handed hitters, right?
Exactly. But obviously in the next 3 games, including this one, they're going to have to figure it out. None of those guys can really afford to have terrible series here in Stockton, as there's Dusty Coleman on deck.
Another right-handed hitter. Manager Garrison going with a lot of righties tonight.
Whacked into right field, a base hit. Richard being held at third. It's gotten cleanly by Payne. Throw is cut off, and with only 1 out, Webster Garrison not willing to take the chance. The base is loaded and 1 away for Stockton.
Well, Ryan Lipkin goes the other way again. This is what he did against San Jose. Got one into the gap that Gary Brown missed out there with a jumping attempt. Check out Danny Payne on this one. Tumble your way home on the throw. But Lipkin, he scored the winning run against the Giants in a bases loaded spot, and with that base hit, he loads them up for Coleman. You know, Coleman was the one talking about that series against San Jose in the clinching game. You know, he had come up in a big spot, bases loaded, and would strike out. And I think, if memory serves me correctly, it was Levere that came up and delivered with the hit to right that tied the game. But for Coleman, you know, he gets another crack at it here.
And Dusty led the league where you don't want to lead the league in strikeouts.
Sure.
Coleman, I believe 171 strikeouts this season was the exact figure. And right here is a spot where the Ports can ill afford a strikeout. And you go back to last night, Ports in the top of the 10th inning in a 2-2 game had the bases loaded and nobody out and failed to get the go-ahead run. And it was really at that point you knew Lake Elsinore was going to win the game, and the Storm came right back the next inning and got the sac fly from Fuentes. But in situations like these, with your season on the line, you got to find a way to make at least a productive out.
Well, if he can do that here, you can get a fly ball, can do it.
That's on the ground, snared by Galvez from his knees to second for 1. Valdez to first, and holding the bag, Fryman. They turn 2, and again the Ports load the bases with less than 2 outs and fail to score. What a play made by Galvez to save a couple of runs. 4-6-3, they get it turned, and after a full inning here in Stockton, still no score.